audio. In 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 audio.
Yes, people. What's going on? Welcome back to Saeed TV, and this is your Straightjacket podcast 229 of the Straightjacket podcast. I hope everybody's well. I hope everybody's good. Monday, not a good Monday for us. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. Nuruddin, how are you, mate? Everything all blessed in South Central Manny? South Central Manny? How's South Central Manny?
Raining at the moment, mate. Dark clouds, raining, pissing it down like nobody's business. Just
It's
like
only
Man
raining.
United, mate. Just like Man United, the weather's like it's like Man United, mate. Pissing on the parade, mate.
Yeah. We got a lot to talk about, man. You know what I mean? It feels like another therapy session, man. And I'm with the Mr. Therapy right now anyway. But please make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe to Nuruddin's channel, United Real Therapy. We'll be live after this as well. But yeah, make sure you like the video, people, man. But the title of the video, Nuruddin, is, yeah, it's Ten Hag setting him. Oh gosh, you're doing better than the players anyway. You might be a better defender than these players. I'm telling you. I'm just watching Amad Diallo's goal, by the way, again. Oh my god, give me Amad Diallo, mate. Oh my, honestly, I'm just watching it again now. I watched the game, by the way. Amad Diallo, mate, would shit on these players, man. I'm telling you now, mate. I can't wait for next season. But Nuruddin, the title of the video is Ten Hag setting himself up for failure. Trusting these players. You call them bottle jobs. I don't know if you see my opinion about David De Gea, but we're done now. Where do we begin, man? Take the floor, bro.
Well, to be fair, I never expected us to get top four. So, to me personally, I always said I made about 10 videos on United Real Therapy saying that this can come to a head if Ten Hag tries to fight all fronts with 13 players, 14 players at the most. That is that gamble will cost him, and it's looking like it's coming true. I wish I never predicted that. I wish I was totally wrong, and I'm happy to be wrong. I'm not afraid of being embarrassed or whatever, as long as Manchester United are winning. But I knew this was going to come to a head. I know the burnout was coming, and now we're getting the mistakes. What people don't understand is that it's not just the physical fatigue; it's the mental fatigue. And now the mistakes are coming. Luke Shaw handling the ball, David De Gea throwing one in the net yesterday. It's all there because of the mental fatigueness. And then I look across to the bench and I see Erik ten Hag. He looks like he's been hit for a 6. He looks fatigued. Saeed, you went just a couple of trips with these players. You went a couple of trips. You went, I think, to Spain twice. You went to London, I think, one of the away games. And then you were coming back telling me, yo, I'm shattered. And you're not playing.
Are we giving too much excuse, though? Can we not just say
I don't think listen, I genuinely don't think that's an excuse, because Manchester United, by the time the season finishes, if West Ham, I think the only team that can match us is West Ham in terms of like how many games they've played this season. Well, actually, they can't, because they never got further in the FA Cup and further in the League Cup. So I think
let me ask you a question, though. How can they do that? And they're playing Conference League. They're playing Conference League every week, Nuruddin.
Yeah, but because
they're playing better than us.
Yeah, but because they didn't make it to 2 cup finals. And plus, Saeed, they've got a really good team. No, let me finish. They've got a really good team, and they're fighting relegation with that good team. West Ham, where were they last season? Where were they?
Better quality than them. When you look at the quality, we've got better quality. Sancho and all these players, they're better quality.
Saeed, I'm sorry. You think we've got better quality than them? We haven't.
No, but it is West Ham, though. Let's be honest.
Yeah, but Saeed, but our players
would pick them West Ham players over Man United players, then, would you?
No, but Saeed, that's the point, innit? Because of Manchester United players, because of their price tags, we think we've got better players.
No. It's not about that. It's not the grand scheme of things. But you're not taking West Ham players over Man United players, yes or no?
At this moment in time, I'll take
Bowen.
No,
don't do that.
He's more effective than Anthony. Anthony's just shooting on sight. Anthony's just shooting on sight every game without any accuracy, not passing the ball. So
Rice only for me. Yeah.
Who's more effective, Bowen or Anthony?
Judging by yesterday, Bowen.
Exactly. So at the end of the day, I look at West Ham. I think they should no better be near where they are. But after the season finishes, Manchester United would have played more football than any team in Europe. And I said to you all, I told you all, and a lot of them in the comments were coming for me, calling me negative. Manager's got to go for it all. And I told you all, it's going to cost us. Because when it comes down to it, it's always going to cost us, because you can't play with 14 players all season and expect for them to be fresh for the running. And
I get that, Nuruddin. But some of these things are not. David De Gea doing what he did, that's not fatigue. Some of the players not giving.
You don't understand about mental
Is Sancho fatigued? Is Martial fatigued? They're not fatigued, man.
He's done. That guy's done out here.
No, that's what I'm trying to say to you, though, Nuruddin. You can't just call it all of fatigue. Some of them are not good enough.
Listen, the bad form is like contagious. Confidence is contagious. If the form is bad, and the way what's going on at this football club, I see it. Since Martinez has been out of the team, this team has not looked the same. Luke Shaw's filled in and done well as a centre-back, but they've not been the same. We don't play out from the back. We don't do the build-up from the back as much as we do. Luke Shaw can defend all right, but he ain't visiting balls into midfield. He ain't visiting balls into that, that number 10 area. He's not doing that. So obviously Martinez that's the biggest miss. That's why we were devastated. Because it wasn't just his defending and like team spirit and fighting spirit. It was also his actually ball playing skills that we miss in this team. But when I look at it now, I see fatigue starting. And I always said to you, Jose had to choose. Jose chose. Van Gaal had to choose. But Van Gaal thought he knew better than us, majority of the fans, because we know these players better than he does, other than the players that he's bought. And at the end of the day, they were being found out. Rashford now, marvellous. He's done a lot of things for Man United this season. He's carried us for a part. Now his form is dipped. He's back to the form that he was on when you were having your run outside Newcastle, running into dark alleys, right? That's what it is.
Nothing's changed.
But you know what? But to be fair, But to be fair, he's done his job. It's other in the team
Yeah.
to step up.
I agree
It's
with that.
others in
I
the
agree
team
with that.
It's others in the team to step up. But I call this. Why did I make 8 to 10 videos in my channel? And how many times I've been on here, Straightjacket podcast, talking about fatigue. It's not just the physical, it's mental as well. And Aaron has played football and he knows what I'm talking about. It's not just the physical fitness, it's the mental fatigue.
I hear you.
And that's why, to me, mistakes in discipline comes where, and the biggest thing for me is this: when a new manager takes over a football club, right, the biggest number one thing is time on the effing training ground, right? I speak to Arsenal fans and they say to me, you know, that season when we were out of Europe or or whatever, when we finished 8th, Arteta had time to drill these players on the system. And you know what, Saeed? You know, when you're mentally and physically fatigued, you fall back on the techniques, you fall back on the style of play, you fall back on the patterns of play. And at the end of the day, what I see the top 6 doing, right, for defense, obviously, yeah, Luke Shaw has made an error that cost us the game. De Gea has said that cost us the game. But generally, the back five have been all right generally in most games. What's been dreadful, it's been the 6 on top or the 5 on top. And they've been absolute dreadful. The top 6 have been dreadful. And no creativity, no patterns to play. And everybody, when they get to the edge of the area, everybody wants to shoot on sight. You can't play football like that. It's not about shooting. It's about passing the right pass. It's about third man runs. It's about the patterns of play. And we don't do it. So am I shocked or surprised Man United are going to bottle top 4? No, I'm not. Because I predicted this. Why did I predict it? Why?
Another prediction. Yeah, you're right. Let me just get a couple of super chats before I bring Aaron in. Adiwali says, big up Adiwali says, the quicker Ten Hag gets rid of these old players, Shaw, Bruno, Rashford, Martial, Sancho, Dallo, Wan-Bissaka, Fred, McTominay, David De Gea, the better for him. These guys are not good enough. We need a brand new team. Big up again. He says Nuruddin is right about the fatigue factor, but these players aren't good enough, including the favourites. They are not good enough. It's plain and simple. Big up Mubsy TV says the squad right now won't even walk into Stokes' team, let alone City's team. And Adiwali says here again, disagree. Can't say Rashford has done his job. The football season is 9 months, not 3. You cannot play well for 3 months and say your job done. I don't care how many goals you score. I think that feeling as well is like when Guardiola and them man are playing. You know, the season's done at the end. So for me, again, he's had his little purple patch. I think for me, he deserves his credit. But overall, for me, it's not been good enough. We're going to get Aaron in as well as soon as we can. Kyle says here, we suffer with fatigue injuries, bad form, without depth and lack of quality. Revert back to type because in muscle memory, we broken mentally. I think for me, though, the biggest issue for me, Nordin, yeah, is that I think this team here can have all the training ground they want, yeah. A, the quality ain't good enough, Nordin, and B, mentally, they're fragile, mate. When you got Sancho coming out of tackles 50-50, can you train that, Nordin? You don't. You either have that or you don't. Martial, I'm not trying to single out players here, but that Martial header, Bruno plays it in. That should be a goal. Rashford just shooting outside from 50 yards. Bruno Fernandes doing it from 50 yards. These are things that, listen, do you think Ten Hag is telling Bruno Fernandes to kick the ball out on the halfway line? No. It's you either have it, Nordin, or you don't. But let's get Aaron and let's get his thoughts. Do you agree with Nordin? Is it a mixture? Let me know what your thoughts are on the players and whatnot.
I think Nordin he's got a point. There is fatigue in there because after the game yesterday, I saw a tweet, and I actually didn't know this. This is the first time we've had a week's break since September.
Yeah.
When I read that, I was like, wait, is this serious? So since September, we've played Sunday, Thursday. Then we've had midweek games in between as well. Then games were cancelled and they were rescheduled. And I was like, rah, this is crazy. But at the same time, this is why they're called professionals. They're called professional footballers for a reason. You're meant to be coping with these type of situations. Yes, you're playing Thursday, Sunday, and then another game here and another game there. But when it's every season, we have Boxing Day, the festive period. So what, do you have excuses for that as well then? Oh no, we just played 3 games in 9 days. Bro, it's Boxing Day season. This is what it happens every single year. So they're called professional footballers for a reason. And as much as I understand Nordin's point that, you know, the mental fatigue can get to your head, you're more liable to make mistakes because your concentration levels are not there and stuff. But then don't play. If you know your concentration levels are not going to be 100%,
tell the manager.
Tell the manager, and the manager will put you aside, leave you on the bench, and then bring you on and play someone else. That's also part of being a professional. It's also part of being a professional. So, as far as yesterday is concerned, obviously I have my personal opinions on it, but you know, it's just very sad, man. It's just very, very sad because it's like we're taking 2 steps forward, then we're taking 3 steps back. And it's always like that this season. It's always been like this. 2 steps forward, then we're taking 3 or 4, 5 steps back. You know, we're making basic errors that are setting us back. You know, now we've got Liverpool breathing down our necks. Saeed, I watched your match reaction this morning. We've got Liverpool literally 1 point behind us. 1 point. 1 point. So
at one point we were 12 points clear of them.
13.
do you see what I mean? That's even worse. 13.
Yeah.
So we only have ourselves to blame, man. And you know, we can talk about the fixture congestion. Sorry, we only have ourselves to blame, especially that performance yesterday. But you know, I do. Even though I read your tweet, Saeed, and when you reacted to Ten Hag saying that he thought that the team, what did he say? His team played well.
Gave it their all. Sounded like Graham Potter, man.
They did give it their all, but it was in the 6 minutes of added time, and that was too late. It was too late by then. You should have what they did in the last 6 minutes. They should have done it throughout the whole game. And it comes down to what you mentioned again, Saeed, the Rashford chance where he tried to bang it in from 30 yards. Bruno in the last seconds of the game, bro, just everyone was in the box. Put the ball into the box, please. Just do. You're good at that. Just do that. Just do that. If we came away with a draw against West Ham yesterday after we conceded that stupid goal, I would have said, you know what? I'll take it. I'll take it. Especially with the way we were playing yesterday.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and you know what's crazy?
It
The
comes
first
down
20
to
minutes was lovely football. Nobody can disagree. The first 20 minutes was actually sensational football. 1-2 combinations. It was very, very, Nuruddin, let's not come on, man, Nuruddin. Nuruddin, you're talking about training ground. That was very good football in the first 20 minutes, Nuruddin. let's not do this, man. After that, when that goal went in, heads went down, and we never played.
It comes down to being clinical, Saeed, because against Brighton in the first 15, we played some wonderful football as well, and we had chances. We just didn't put them away. We had a chance in the second minute. Anthony, how did he not score that against Brighton? He normally just goes for that far post every single time. Why did he not do it? Why did he not do it then? So we play this good football. We're not clinical. We don't take our chances. We create a lot, but we can't finish. And again, this might come down to this summer bringing in a clinical finisher. And as much as I like all these names that are being thrown in a hat, I'm gonna just be honest and be like, listen, bring me Harry Kane, because at least you put the ball to him in those positions, he buries it.
Yeah.
If he can score 20, what was it? How much is he on now? What, 23, 24? If he can score 20 plus goals in this Tottenham team,
yes.
Imagine what he can score if he actually has. Sorry?
In that, especially that goal as well, where he just out of nothing, that goal on the weekend, by the way, out of nothing,
out of nowhere. You put a cross into the box 9 times out of 10, it's a goal. So yeah, man. Listen, for me, there needs to be a clinical striker that's going to finish those chances, because clearly Anthony can't do it. Martial can't do it anymore. Rashford lately can't do it. Bruno can't do it. So who can?
Yeah. You're right.
If our forward players can't convert the chances that we create for ourselves, then who's going to do it? So what? We're going to have to rely on penalties again, like we did under Oli. Listen,
man, a lot of people are saying Oli ball, man. Listen, let's not use the word Oli around here, man, because a lot of people are saying Oli ball.
And also, I have exactly, and also, both of you know, I have a lot of respect for Ten Hag. I wanted the guy to come to the club, but sometimes I have to be honest and say, listen, and I have called him out when he's made the wrong subs and he utilized the wrong tactics and stuff like that. But listen, Mr. Erik Ten Hag, I have a lot of respect for you, but your trust in some of these players will cost you your job. It will cost you points. It will cost you games. It will cost you trophies. Let's say we play in a final on, we're playing in a final against Man City.
Yeah, yeah.
You play if you play some of these players and you put your trust in some of these players, it will cost you the trophy.
Yeah.
I mean, not that I'm going into the final with any sort of confidence in the first
No,
place.
no.
You know what I mean? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that brings me to the De Gea point. Yes, you know, legend of the club. He's been there for 12 years, but your trust in this goalkeeper will cost you games. It will cost you games. And I was one of those guys, man. I was like, you know what? Nah, De Gea, man. Listen, legend of the club. And, you know, I always tried to find a positive. But, bro,
Positive, yeah.
that Seville performance was my breaking point. I said, listen, no amount of future saves or camera saves is going to make me forget what I saw against Seville. No performance. And here, like, guess what? Guess what happened yesterday? Another mistake. It's come to the point where I'm expecting to see at least one mistake every game. At least one. If it's not a mistake that leads to a goal, it's a mistake where someone has to bail him out. Yesterday, bro, he passed the ball to Declan Rice in the 4th minute of the game.
Yeah. That was criminal as well. I don't know what he was trying to do there, man.
He was trying to find Weghorst. 4
Weghorst,
minutes in,
yeah.
bro. And then
What's
Weghorst
doing there as well, by the way? That's on the manager as well. Why is he playing CDM trying to receive the ball when he's not mobile enough to get on the half turn and do like? There's a lot of things tactically that's wrong about us right now.
Exactly, and I have to call it out. As much as I like Ten Hag, I have to call these things out. Tactically, you know, starting Weghorst, I think we all agree that, you know, towards the end of the season now, with how many games left, 3-4 games left, it's not the best decision. But then again, equally, I'm looking at Sancho, I'm looking at Martial, I'm looking at all these players that are meant to play in that number 10 position, even Bruno. If a guy like Weghorst is starting over all of you guys in that position, ask yourself questions.
Yeah.
Ask yourself questions.
Yeah.
Why is Weghorst starting ahead of all these guys in the number 10 position? Why? So there's a lot of questions to be asked, man. And Ten Hag in the summer, I know I probably know you've said it, Saeed. I know Nordin's probably said it as well a million times. We need to be ruthless in the summer. There needs to be an overhaul. I'm tired. I don't want to go into next season with some of these players still starting for Manchester United. I don't want to see it. I'm sorry to say it like that.
Yeah.
People I don't want to go into next season. Champions League as well, potentially, because we're not sure of that either.
Listen, don't count your eggs, mate. Don't count your eggs, mate.
I don't want to go into next season with David De Gea still starting for my club. I don't. I'm sorry. I've seen enough.
Yeah.
I've seen enough. And there's one thing, him making these mistakes, but then he makes these mistakes and then he's all there like feeling sorry for himself. And he's got his head on the ground.
You know what he was doing? He was talking to the linesman yesterday, saying, "Oh man, did you see that mistake, man?" And he was like, "You know, I shouldn't have done that." I'm just gonna get through super chat saying, "JJ Barrett goes, we have mental and physical fatigue. It's not so long. We was talking about winning the league. We need to chill, man. Erik Ten Hag has no time. Go implement his coaching with so many games. Either watch next season." So, JJ Barrett.
So Barrett, not me, mate. I wasn't talking about winning no league. So don't include me, pal.
Yeah.
I wasn't talking about no league. I wasn't getting giddy. Like I said, I'll say it again. I predicted this shit. I've done 10 videos on my channel saying fatigue is going to cost us. And Erik Ten Hag does not know these players. He can't use 14 players for almost 60 games. He cannot be doing that because these players have not been there seasons before. And when a new manager comes into a football team, especially one with specific as a coach, you need time on the training ground. Because when the fatigue sets in, you need something to fall back on. You need the patterns of play to fall back on to bail you out. He hasn't got that. And now, like I said, they revert to type. They do what they've done on the Ollie as well. Remember when they just used to shoot individual FC?
Individual freestyle. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, they just used to shoot outside the area. That's what they used to do. So it is what it is.
Yeah. Big up to Brian Wan says, during the late Wenger years, I genuinely believed our players weren't better than the mid-teams. Mustafi, Bellerin, Iwobi. Poor recruitment. Kyle says, hey, Aaron, is that Erik Ten Hag's fault? We all know 70% of the squad doesn't suit his play. I'm frustrated with Sancho, but we don't play like BVB. But again, the recruitment team, that's on John Myrtle, that's on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. They brought him.
I will say this, though. I'm not going to put it all on Ten Hag. Yeah, yes, some of the decisions and tactics have been questionable during games. But sometimes I do have to remember, as a fan myself, we're in the middle of selling the club. So the Glazers are not going to invest in something that they're not going to reap the benefits of. So I understand that. If I'm selling the business, I'm not going to try and bring in investors if I know I'm going to dip out. I'm not going to do that. So I get that. I get that a lot of these players are not or don't suit the Ten Hag style of play. So a lot of these players we're not going to see next season. You know, I'm looking at people, even people that I like. I'm looking at people like Martial might be leaving, Fred, because he's not getting any game time. McTominay, I completely forgot about him. We ain't seen him in like years. It feels like we ain't seen him in years since he got hooked at halftime in that game. I can't remember what game it was. So
he's injured. He's injured.
Oh, is he injured?
Yeah,
well,
injured.
even when he's fit, you don't really play like that. So I do know that, you know, there are still a lot of players to come in to really suit that Ten Hag style of football. Right
It's
now,
got styles, man. Aaron.
Off the top of my
There's
head,
players that want to run in behind, and there's got players who are technically, you know, savvy.
and that's why I still want to give him credit, because it's not easy to try and cope with these players that are not doing what you tell them to do. You know, occasionally they'll just do whatever they want, like Bruno, like Rashford, and just shoot from anywhere. You know, it's not easy. You know, it's not easy at all. We've seen the likes of Rangnick last season. It got to
Couldn't even get
Oli.
pressed.
Do you know what I mean?
So Nuruddin, when he says, "Oh, you know, we need 1 week. We need 1 week." We had 1 week last year. We were out of the Champions League. Is that not correct, Nuruddin? We were out the Champions League. We were out the Europa League. So your argument doesn't really stand for much, if I'm being honest.
No, it doesn't. No.
No, hold on a minute.
No.
He tried to tell them to play Ragnick ball, and they couldn't do it.
No, Saeed, I'm sorry. You cannot judge a time. Did you ever, anybody in the comments, did anybody respect the substitute cheater that was there for 2 weeks? No.
No,
Ranieri,
it's not about that. It's about the principle.
No, Saeed, it's no principle. Saeed, it's no principle. At the end of the day, listen, at the end of the day, this.
Oh my
God. The
God.
players when Ranieri came in, you go and look at the Fred interview. Go and look at the Fred interview. Fred did a massive interview when Ranieri was still there. He's like, we want to know clarity. The idea that Manchester United had interim, and sent Ole Gunnar Solskjaer on holiday for 2 weeks back to bloody Norway, where they should have sacked him and waited more for us to suffer, then sacked him, is ridiculous. At the end of the day, is this: you're not judging a full-time manager to Ranieri's time. The players listened to Ranieri for half an hour against Crystal Palace. After that, they were like, "Now this Gegenpress thing."
It comes back to the players then. It comes back to the players rather than the actual philosophy.
Saeed, let me finish this, bro.
Everything comes back to the players, though.
No, listen. The players, it comes back to the players. Like I said, we know the players. So we're not surprised. These are bottle job mentality cowards, right? We understand that. But I'm sorry, Erik ten Hag does not help himself. Like I said, on United Real Therapy later on, we're gonna be looking at, for me, one of the most telling interviews that he's done of his time at Manchester United. Cracks are beginning to show.
Everton has scored, by the way.
Right.
So they've done better than us.
Yeah. Listen.
That's good. That's good.
Listen.
Yeah, that's good.
Cracks,
Everton has scored.
Listen, the cracks are beginning to show.
I'm yet to see it, man. I'm late. Oh my days.
Listen, the cracks are cracks are appearing now. And at the end of the day, playing Workhorst, who's now, I think the first 14 or 15 games he did well, because we didn't have anybody. We had Rashford and he did well what he did. Now, it looks like every game he plays is faster than him. And then playing Bruno on the left-hand side, this season when he's played Bruno on the left-hand side, Man United have lost or withdrawn games. So for me, tactically yesterday, those were the most biggest inept things. When you've got Palestri, when you got Sancho, of course he's not playing well. When you got Martial, who else did he have? What other attacking play options did he have?
Nacho was on the bench, but he didn't want to play them, though. He didn't want to play them because he's come back from injury. Adiwale says here, been saying is it why Hogwarts playing 10 over Bruno? It's because he's trashed 10 on the ball. Listen, I think for me, the biggest one is sorting out, the De Gea situation. I think that will happen next season. But ultimately, Nuruddin, it's the ones that are there, Nuruddin. I know the Glazers need to be gone, and there's a bigger picture. But also Ten Hag needs to go and to the owners and say, I don't want this player. He needs to go and translate that to John Murtough. I know we want the Glazers out, but he's got to translate that to the Glazers and say, listen, these are not fitting my system. They're not fitting what I want to do. I want them gone, please. Find a possible solution. Harry Maguire, find a possible
solution. Under who ownership? Glazer ownership?
Well, whoever it is in charge, that's what I'm trying to say to you. He needs to
So
translate.
at the end of the day, well, with Glazers, everything you said is logical and is right, but Glazers don't know that language. You know what the language they know? Glazonomics, which means every player's contract is tied to how it looks on a financial spreadsheet. So if the player is got rid of before his contract ends, that means the club makes a loss. So Glazers, that's why Glazers don't get rid of players. Players are only allowed to go when they come to the end of their contracts. So with this Saeed, that's a football team. We're not a football team. We've not been a football team for the past decade. That's the biggest elephant in the room. Biggest elephant in the room. You look at how many players, let's compare now, Aaron's here, yeah? How many centre halves and how many players as Pep Guardiola got rid of? They bought them, played them for 5-10 games, half a season, get rid. How many players? Yeah. How many players
Jurgen Klopp, the way he ripped up the squad. Even Jurgen Klopp, he ripped up the squad after 1 season, 2 seasons. He got rid of the most of them.
There we go. We're not, Saeed, we don't operate like a normal football club. We've not been, so we can't talk like we are a football club. We're not. We are a spreadsheet club who look at the spreadsheet matters more than the actual football. Football, if you buy play, it didn't work out, you make your losses, you get rid, see you later.
Yeah, there's a lot of players here that I can see that he got in, and then he got rid of straight away. Well, the few that I can name off the top of my head, Nolito, remember the Nolito? He was in for like what?
Yeah, after 1 season, he got rid of him.
Then he was gone. Bravo, he was gone after a season and a half.
The centre backs, the guy from Barcelona,
Mangala was gone. Garcia was gone. Kolarov was gone. Demichelis was gone. There's many of them. Mangala was, he was gone.
The guy from Barcelona, the centre half kid from Barcelona.
Yeah, Eric Garcia.
Yeah, Danilo
gone as well. Danilo, I forgot about Danilo. Yeah,
Savage.
Yeah.
There was a lot of players, man. In that team.
Danilo. I swear Danilo was part of that swap deal with Cancelo.
Cancelo, yeah. So he went the other way. Fernando, who destroyed us in the Europa League, by the way, at age 35. Otamendi, to be fair, he was part of this good team.
Yeah, he was still around for a couple of years. Yeah.
He was still around for a couple of years, so he was called good. But listen, when you look at this squad, it needs major surgery, man. And like I said, I don't know what he was like at Ajax, and we may need someone from Ajax to kind of understand the approach in terms of how he shaped this team, who he got rid of, what players did he oversee. We want to know if he's going to be ruthless enough. He does look like a guy that's ruthless, but behind the scenes, I'm not expecting to slate players in front of the camera. I'm not. But I hope behind the scenes, there's serious discussions. And you know what? It might have to be uncomfortable conversations. People like Sancho, it might have to be, you know what? It's not working. Let's find a possible solution. Listen, guys, man, I don't think anybody here should be fighting for any player, man. If I'm being honest with you, man. Like, if they're here, they're here. If they're not, like, you know what I mean? See you later. Like, it has to be that kind of ruthlessness, man. If you want to build your team next season to the mold you want to be, you've got to have players that are by your side. I look at Guardiola. Everyone's by his side. You have to get players who are with the manager. If these guys are half-hearted and they're like, you know what? At this game, I don't really fancy it. At home, I'm all right. But away from home, no, I don't want that. So you got to remember, you've got to have players who are up for it. Training. You know when they come for training, you see certain players, they're not feeling well, or certain players don't want to play. Get all of that, man, out, man. If you don't want to be here and you're half-hearted, you have to go, man. And Ten Hag can say, you know what? I've worked with you for a year. I've tried to do individual training program. I've tried to do this. I've tried to do that. It's not worked out. You know what? We're going to have to find a possible solution because we're going to be missing out on big talent. Caicedo, McAllister, all these players are going to Europe for big, big money. Oh, because we want to try one more year with Fred or one more year with certain players that are basically on crossroads. You've got to be ruthless and get rid.
Elephant in the room, Saeed. Glazers playing games, mate. Nobody knows. I'm
talking about from the perspective of Ten Hag. His perspective.
Well, I'm not going to lie to you. Ten Hag has backed them. Like the title said, Ten Hag has trusted these players. Now he's given them 2 days off. Apparently now they're not.
I think that's needed. By the way, I think that's needed. I'll be honest with you.
So we'll see what happens. We'll be there. You'll be there. Aaron, are you going to be there on Saturday?
No, I'm not going to be there.
We'll be there on Saturday, and we'll see.
You know what was a bogey team, you know, Nordin? That's your bogey team.
Yeah.
That's our
And
bogey
see how
team.
Fulham are flexing now. Fulham are what a revenge. And Chelsea, they've got match winners in their team that can take the game away from us. The biggest at the moment is that we can't score goals. We don't look like scoring any goals. So when you give me 20 minutes, when you go, 20 minutes, no way do Man United scoring any goals or coming. Fabianski did not make any saves in that 20 minutes. So what's the point of playing good football when we're not working the keeper? What's the point?
Right. Yeah, you're actually right. Big up Owinski. He says, "Hey, hello, gents. Eric Ten Hag is doing what he can do. I sit in the players he wants out first. Maguire, Fred, Sancho, who do the same come next season. Patience." And Kyle says here, "We can't afford to get rid of players in March. We only had Bruno, McTominay, Fred. We need generic depth. Go to the relegated teams. Go and get Adams and Gibbs White.
Listen, I say it simple. Listen, Saeed, I say it simple. Manchester United needs 7 players that go into that first team.
You're right. That's exactly what it is. You know what it is, though? Even this idea of squad players, I don't want to hear idea of squad players. You see, Man City, there's no squad player. You name me a City player, that's a squad player. You name me. Everyone has a purpose. Even Phillips next season, okay, it's not worked out this season, but next season he has to have his role. When you look at Phil Foden, he comes on, instant impact. I get it.
Phil Foden's been out of the team for 2 months.
Sorry?
He's been out of the team for 2 months. Only Man City can afford to do that. Take a player out for 2 months. What I'm going to say
to you is, though, the idea that we always saying, we need squad players. We need players that go in and are direct competition for the first team. Casemiro's not playing well. You bring on Caicedo. Caicedo's probably started, by the way. You bring on players who come in and they fight for Casemiro now. If he's not playing well, you get him out of the team, get him out of the firing line, protect him. Go and say, you know what? Have a couple of games off, and we're not going to play in these couple of games. And then you come in fit and fire ready when you're back. You've got to have players who come in. Fred is no direct replacement to these players. Come on, man. Lavia, whoever it is, Aaron, yeah? Like, we have to have direct replacements. When they come in, you don't know there's been a change. That's what happens with Man City. Mahrez comes on, then it's Grealish. Foden, boom. It's just like...
Saeed, I'll stop you there. Saeed, I'm sorry. I'll stop you there. Pep Guardiola has had a big squad, and with a big squad, you can drill your team on the training ground. That's why when players, the system is king.
You keep emphasizing on drilling. It's about quality, Nuruddin.
No, let me finish. No, quality is needed. I understand that. But quality, when you drill them into a way of playing, when they get them on the pitch, and then the quality is similar, what's on the bench to what's starting, then what happens is that you drill the style of play into them. That can seem because
okay.
Let me finish.
No, I'm going to stop you there. No. I want to stop you at your point, Rodin. I want to stop you at your point. So you're saying, yeah. So okay, we got Fred, yeah. We got Fred who can't pass, who can't make a 5-yard pass. Hold on a minute. You got Fred.
Said to you quality. I've conceded. I said to you, it's quality as well. It's quality as well. You need quality.
That's my whole
you
point.
also need to implement. You need to have the time to implement in the time. So with Pep Guardiola, he's always had a bigger squad. That's why Allardyce comes out and says they've got the best first team and the second team. They've got the 2 best teams in the league. It's City, Man City and Man City. So what I'm saying to you is that when you build that level of squad, you can then, with the other 8 or 9, implement your style and drill them into it. So when it comes to match day, you need them for the games. That's what Fergie used to do. People like O'Shea, people like Wes Brown, people like Fletcher used to come in, bang, straight away look like they went out, like they look like they've been in the team. They know the style of play. They know how to play. That's what happens. At the moment in time, Eric Ten Hag gambled, Saeed. I come back to it. I'm going to drill it home for people, especially those who were calling me negative. I tell you now, when you're a new coach, because I see what De Zerbi has done at Brighton, he had a good base to work from, what Harry Potter did, right? Right? Potter, and then what he's done is drilled them to play out from that. Let me remind you, Saeed, let me pick your head. Louis van Gaal did it with Who did he have in midfield? Schneider and Fellaini.
Schneiderlin,
And
Fellaini, Carrick.
And they went to Man City and bossed them. He had who did he have? That kid, Paddy McNair, and the other guy, the black kid. What's his name?
Paddy McNair, Tyler Blackett, all them players.
Tyler Blackett. He had these players. United played that from the back.
Barella.
Yeah. United played that from the back. Now, so you're telling me Brighton players are better quality than Man United? All of them? No, they're not. They've been drilled. What you don't understand is that they've been drilled. And when you got time to drill them, look at Arteta when they finish 8th, they had time to drill them into the patterns and styles of play. And look at another challenging for a league title. I'm sorry to say, when you are a new coach, you can't come to the Premier League. This ain't the Eredivisie. This game, Ranić said this when Ranić came in. He goes, Premier League games. He goes, when you're top of the German Bundesliga, you play the lowest half. It's a given. 3 points. You come to the Premier League, you play the bottom team. You're fighting for their lives. It's intensity. And I'll come back to this. I'll come back to this where the fatigue comes in. To play the Erik ten Hag system, you need intensity, aggression. You need to fight for second balls and win your duels. You also need to be composed on the ball and pass the ball. All of those elements go out the window when you're mentally and physically fatigued. And the players have been pushed. He gambled, and now the chickens have come home to roost. And Ten Hag on Sunday, last night, looked fatigued. So I watched the game for 70 minutes. And I said, I fancy me some Somali music. I went to Duru. And you know what? It was lovely.
Big up.
I can't really rave. I can't dance. I stood on the side and took in a bit of my own culture and heard some nice, decent tunes. And I came home.
Now, you know what it is, though, Nuruddin, yeah? And I want to hear what Aaron says as well. And by the way, big up Owinski. I think he said something about we don't even have 11 squad players, something like half of our first 11 aren't even bench players, exactly. And also, I think I got a super chat here from Kyle. I think he says something here. Nuruddin, do we even need 10 starters or malleable depth? Well, I think we need a mixture of everything, man. We need quality, but quality. The depth has to be quality. And my question is here, and hopefully Aaron will be here. Aaron. You know, Bayern Munich, Barcelona, the great teams here, they want to play in every competition, you know. But you've got to have players who are hungry, who have quality, who have the mentality. I think you have to mold it onto one. I understand what Nuruddin means in terms of training and whatnot, but you've got players who don't have to be micromanaged, who understand ideas quickly, who understand methods quickly, can do it on the pitch week in, week out. That's what you need, Aaron. I get training ground, but you also need players who understand it. You don't need to tell Sancho, yo, you need to do this, then you need to do that. Or, you get what I mean? You have to fight for tackles. You have to 50-50. You see what I mean? Like, I get training ground, but you have to have the players who fit into the system and ultimately have quality as well.
I agree. But all of that, it's going to take time. Like Noden said, it needs time to be studied on the training pitch. It needs time to be rehearsed and drilled into the players' heads. And that's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen in one season. So yeah, I'm looking forward to, pre-season. Let's see what Ten Hag can drill into these players. Let's see what training, what patterns of play that they can rehearse, and let's see if there's a difference next season. Because with new players, preferably with new players. So
the midfield for me though is scary, man. That midfield yesterday, man, bro. Like, when did we? Like, seriously, man, we need to sort this midfield out, man. Like, I love Casemiro, yeah, but like I said to you, he's getting knackered because he's looking at. I don't know if you see the guy's interview on some professional football association, and he said that he didn't really like the amount of games that was played in England. He goes, the quality of the game kind of like dissolves, and you kind of lose the quality. So he's obviously looking at thinking, you know what, man, like, we play once a week, or we at least rotate well. But I'm looking at Bruno Fernandes playing every single game. Eriksen, for me, ain't good enough, man. I'm sorry. I love the guy. He's been through a lot. But ultimately, he ain't good enough. Even as a squad player, man, I think sometimes limitation, because when he comes in, he's not able to do the role that the manager wants. When you have to transition into the next phase, he's very, very slow, man. You got Fred, not good enough. McTominay, not good enough. Van der Beek, not good enough. Who else is out there? Who is anyone else? Have I missed anyone? Sabitzer, again, the jury's out. If he stayed, fair enough. But if he didn't, I wouldn't lose sleep over it. You know what I mean? So again, it comes down to the as well. I just look at the midfield as well. Like we need so many in that midfield, man. Like I don't know what sort of profile you would like. What the sort of profile do you think the manager needs? What he will bring in? Will he bring in players? Will he looks at the things and you know what? The quality's all right. They've got enough numbers there. Will he look at it in that way?
Yeah, absolutely. The midfield for me is one of the many areas we need to improve on. So that needs to be addressed quickly, which is why I hope that this new ownership thing will be done at the end of the month so that they can come in and then we can go and get the players that we need. Because what I don't want to happen is next season and we're still in the transfer market trying to get players and then we sign someone on deadline day and then he's not had any preseason and he doesn't know how we play. Like, it's going to take too much time. So we need to try and wrap up as many signings as possible before we leave for America. So yeah, it will have to happen before July.
Yeah. But it's obviously ownership situation. Obviously, I don't know what I don't know where we're at right now, to be honest with you. I'll be real, man. I don't even think Nordin knows. He's kind of lost in the situation. And obviously, it's kind of quieting down now. I think for me, it will pick up when it needs to pick up. But, you know, you need to get the people involved. If it is Jim Ratcliffe coming in with the Glazers in on a 20% stake, you know, we have to sort something out, man. The manager needs to know because the manager's getting a bit restless. He's probably saying all these things knowing that I've got to keep David De Gea maybe. I've got to keep some of these players in because who else I'm going to play? Who else is there at the squad? You know what I mean? So maybe he's going to have to think like that. And that's why he's maybe saying it. But for me, the striking option, defenders as well. I think for me, defense still needs upgrading as well.
The striker up? Everybody's talking about a striker. Who's going to set the striker up? Where our inverted wingers don't pass the ball. They're greedy. They all go for shots.
No team players. Them guys are just greedy, man. You know,
and the biggest things about the David De Gea, I say it, Aaron, everybody else, welcome. I've been done with this guy since Billy Sharp bullied him in the lockdown at Sheffield United versus Manchester United at Old Trafford, with no fans in the stadium. Me and David De Gea parted ways. I've liked him this season. There's a lot of games at Old Trafford this season. Without him, we don't go through to a FA Cup final. Without him, we don't go through so many games. But in terms of David De Gea, I'm done. At the end of the day, it is what it is. I'm not going to go in on him because, to me, players make mistakes, but the team bails them out. The team steps in.
That's exactly what we need to say as well.
Yeah, he's bailed the team out for a long time. He's bailed the team out for a long, long time, David De Gea. So, at the end of the day, those cowards don't do it, and it is what it is. But for me, it's also the tactics. I just think Erik ten Hag has found it draining. He thought he can come here with his Billy big boots and think, oh, no, this ain't the Eredivisie. That's why I always tell him, know who the F you're managing. Know who you're managing. You ain't managing Ajax in the Eredivisie where they've got more quality. Their substitutes, their youngsters are more quality than everybody else in that league. And they're the big club. Manchester United, everybody wants to beat Manchester United. Manchester United have a different history in this Premier League. And this Premier League is, you know what? When you look at Premier League in the dictionary, it says intensity, physicality, aggression. And if you don't have that, if you're too fatigued because you played nearly 60 games, then you're going to get found out. There is one place in the football pitch that says anything about your football club is when you cross the white line, everything gets exposed right there and then. That's where it gets exposed. And that's what's happening. That is what's happening.
You know what's scary for me is the fact that.
And you know the funny thing? We can't even blame it on Maguire.
I know.
We can't even blame it on McTominay. We can't blame it on Fred. Casemiro, where has he been since the red cards? Where has he been now? He came back for one game. He came back. Was it Villa game? He looked good. One of the games he looked decent.
Yeah, Villa. It was Villa. Villa at home.
Yeah, Villa he looked good. But he's not looked good at all in 6-7 games now. Horrendous. Since he's been back, he's been horrendous. And at the end of the day, Eriksen yesterday, dog shite. Bruno, back to old school Bruno.
Zimmer frame.
Yeah, Bruno, back to old school Bruno. Frustrating, making it all about himself, petulant. Aaron talked about it. The last 5 seconds of the game, he's got the time to put the ball in, but he takes a speculative shot from 30 yards with his left foot. You tell me the percentage of that ball going in.
Has he ever scored with his? Has he ever? Wait. Has the better question is no? Then has he ever scored a banger with his left foot for Man United?
No, never.
No, never.
There you go.
And then we'll talk about Martial because it's about accountability here. Martial, we thought, can he stay fit and save the season? You know what? He might stay fit, but he ain't fucking good enough on this form. All of a sudden, the guy starts whacking things. All of a sudden, he used to be decent in the air. His heading abilities left him. And now he's missing sitters. So get the F out of here with that. To me, signing one player, I'm telling you, I could easily replace the top 6. See you later, everybody. Anthony, it's been a pleasure, mate. Ta-da. Back to Vagella.
No.
I'm telling you. I am telling you. I'm sorry. It's indiscipline. When you every game he has 3 shots outside the area. He has 3 shots outside the area. He has 3 shots outside the area where better people are in a better position. And we know he can pass because we can remember the pass that he found Diego Dalot against Nottingham Forest. We know he's got it in him, but he decides to shoot. And then every time he's like, shut F up, you little shit. Right? Your shit, your shots are shit. And they're so predictable. They're effing predictable. So, a Workhorse, I think with 4 operations, I think I could do a bit more hold-up play than Workhorse. And that's on the Glazers. He wanted Gakpo. And I think he plays, he's playing Workhorse because he wants the Glazers to see what he was forced
not really.
You know what?
He's doing that because
I'm telling you know what? You know what?
They couldn't even afford sometimes, I get it.
3 million more. They couldn't even afford 3 million more to get the loan for Felix.
Big up Owinski. He's got a super chat here. Big teams don't use time on the training ground as a success metric. They are busy playing games.
They've got bigger squads. I'm sorry to say, they got bigger squads.
Let me finish.
And they're football clubs. Your club is not a football club, mate. Your club is Glazonomics, mate. We don't operate like a football club. That's why we say no to Gakpo, 38 million or whatever it was. That was Ten Hag's player that he wanted. Instead, we got a player alone from the championship. So we're not a big club. Get the big team out of your head, mate. We're not a big team or a big club anymore, mate.
Quality players need less time on the training ground, unlike these imbeciles who can't grasp tactics. I think for me, I think, you know what? You and Owinski are right in both ways. Yes, they need time on the training ground. But sometimes, you ain't good enough, Nuruddin. And that's just the bottom line. We can hide, we can say training ground this. You can have all the time you want. If you're not ready for that and you haven't got the kind of attributes of a top player, you ain't going to do anything. Like a training ground, man. Some of these guys are training every day, once a week. Nuruddin, Nottingham Forest. Southampton are training every week, once a week. Or they play once a week. But it doesn't mean you haven't got the quality. So ultimately, man, it comes down to quality. We don't have that. And until we have that, for me, it's always going to be a struggle to get top 4. It's always going to be a struggle to do this. And that's the way I look at it. We don't have players that are good enough. I've overhyped players. I'll admit it. I have overhyped some players. And you know what? Sometimes you see the light. But that's where it matters the most. If you don't see the light, then something might be wrong with you then, mate. Because if you're not seeing the light with half of these players, then you might have to go to Specsavers, mate, and see what's going on, because some of these players aren't good enough, man. They're not good enough. And the mentality for me is the biggest thing as well, man. When the going gets tough, everyone's heads down. It's like, oh, look at this, man. I'm sulking. Oh, Rashford. When he does that as well, like, what are you doing? It's your fault you've done that. It's your fault. Whatever's happened on football pitch is down to you. So you humming and hawing and started blaming everyone else but yourself. I don't understand that. There's no self-awareness with these players. Half of them want to blame everyone else but themselves. Like, where's your accountability in front of the pitch? David De Gea has made a huge mistake. But after that, though, where's the team to bail him out? Where's the team there? Where are you? You're not there.
Saeed, we can't score a goal. We can't. Look at it. In the last 4 games, how many goals have we scored?
Bro,
I'll check that right now for you.
One against Villa.
That's the only one I can remember.
But
In the
Right,
last
yeah.
4 games, did you see the last 4 games?
Yeah, last 5 games. How many goals have Man United scored?
We scored 1. No, hold on. We scored 3 goals.
how many Man City scored in the last one?
We
Oh my
scored 3
God, man! I'll tell you, Man City do the treble this year and they do the three-peat. I don't want to hear any Man United fan trying to, you know, what you call it, say, "Oh, this player's still good and this player's still good." I wouldn't even mind if everyone left. If Man City did a treble, and they honestly, I don't care if we made a new team and it was all started again. Big up Adewale says, Nordin, you got a lot of energy for Anti when players like Rashford and Bruno have been here for years and have the most 3+ goal losses out of any other team in the Prem during that period. The old players should have leave first. Their infectious bottle job mentality is going onto new players. This is why I know this is you're right.
I
He's
don't know
right.
Adewale, I love you, brother, but you need to clean out the wax. I said it. I said Bruno, horrendous. I said Rashford, horrendous. But you know what, Rashford, with one thing about Rashford, he's put the numbers up, bro. He's put the numbers up. It wasn't his responsibility to be banging in goals for that mantle, and he's done it. He's done it. So I'm not going to go in on 2 out of Rashford because he's done it. Without his
What's
goals,
Bruno done in the top 6 games? Top 6 games has Bruno stepped up for United? 2-0 Everton. Wow, man. See what I mean? Everton have scored more goals than us. Decore. Flipping hell, that's 2 goals from Decore. Wow. See what I mean? Everton are scoring more goals than us. Flipping Everton. Sam Tresidot says, Arsenal fan here.
Oh, what a goal.
Yeah, go on. Sorry to Everton, Arsenal fan here. Every time I crack open YouTube, this man saying he's streaming something. Just say here, I respect the grind. Come on, bro. Love, man. I appreciate that, man. That's what we're here for, man. But yeah, man, love to everybody here, man. Make sure you like the video. There's over 1,000 people in here, man. So please like the video, man. We're here stressed out, man, for you lot, innit? Some of you lot are here to see Nordin's misery. Some of you are here to obviously therapy. So please, if you would do so, please smash like on the video. We got.
You know what, Saeed? I'm calm. To be honest with you, I'm calm. I'm calm. Do you know why I'm calm? Because I predicted this shit. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've been on this channel, and even you were calling me negative. Man United have got to go for everything. Well, this is Man United going for everything with these shite, cowardly players, and now they're bottled it. Since we won that Mickey Mouse trophy, Man United have not been the same. We've not
But
played
that's down to a lot of situations, though. Not just the fact that we've been in competition. We've just been poor, man. You know what I mean? I don't think it's been down to tiredness. It's been down to poor quality, Nordin, and the mentality's been shit. You can talk about tiredness all this.
They won that Mickey Mouse trophy. I'm telling you, and they thought the season was done. If you ask me, they went on holiday.
We go and get top 4, Nordin. We go and get top 4, Nordin. And listen, if that's what you want, Nordin, that's fair enough. You want top 4. You go next season.
It's not for me. It's not about top 4. What I'm saying,
you don't want the trophies deal. You don't want the trophies deal. You don't want the.
Listen. For me,
that's what you don't want, yeah.
Listen. For me, it's about building a team.
And then let's see what happens in it.
We're playing one game again next week. It's about building a team. What I want is about building a team, drilling a style and a pattern of play. When you're tired, when the things are not going for you, you got something to fall back to. I did sports psychology. When whatever individual sports or whatever, whether it's team sport, when you drill your team into patterns of play, when the critical moments come, when things are not going well, you need them to have something to fall back to. And guess what our front six are falling back to now? Shoot on sight. Outside of the area, shoot on sight. Who were they doing that? Bruno was doing that under Oli. Rashford was doing that under Oli. Anthony now is being infected by those two, and he does it now. It's the same thing. Casemiro, like a slug now. Slug. Can't even moving around the pitch.
Let's get the drill, didn't it?
And you know what? Ericsson's been out for 3 months. What the fuck is his excuse?
Again, you know what I mean? So it's not
Casemiro. And if you look at it, with all the suspension, Casemiro's been out for a month almost.
Yeah.
So what the fuck is his excuse?
Yeah. Knowledge Anthony, big up to you, my guy. I don't care if a player came here 6 months ago. If he's dead food, then he's dead food. Pep is not waiting a year for a player to show them something. We know a player is not good, but still are hopeful. You got a point there, my friend. So maybe Nordin is right. If he thinks Anthony's not good enough, he's not good enough then. please respond to my DM from yesterday. Yeah, you know what, bro? Sorry, man. I just obviously after the loss, man, I just wanted to get off social media, man. But I will do. Hopefully after this stream, I'll look at it as well, man. But we have got Wolves on the weekend. Anyone confident? Because I think for me, we're not winning that game. I don't know what you guys think, but I don't think we're winning that game.
Listen, we can't buy a effing goal. So how can we win football games when we can't buy a effing goal?
I'll say a draw, maybe. I can see a draw.
Draw.
Listen.
Let me know in the chat. Anyone think differently?
With all due respect, yeah, from the way it's looking now, we're not going to be able to bring in players for Erik ten Hag. I can see Erik ten Hag walking. Breaking news. I can see him walking, and I'll show that. I'll give you the evidence. I'll give you the evidence on United Real Therapy because I got the transcript from the second part 2 of the Brighton press conference, part 2 of that interview. I think a lot of you guys have missed that, including Aaron. I think a lot of you guys have missed that. That's the most honest Erik ten Hag has spoken, and the cracks are willing to show. By the way the Glazers and the bankers are running the football club, if you heard the answers that he gave to the questions he was asked about the ownership, the question was asked about players, the questions was asked about all of it. Tune in, United Real Therapy. We're going live soon as. But I promise you guys, the cracks are there. And I can see him walking because he's a planner. One thing about Erik ten Hag, he's a planner. He must have been planning already, Saeed and Aaron. He must be planning already the schedule for the training. Is it individual training for the preseason? He's not going to have players. The only player that he had who joined up with the preseason last season was Malacia.
Yeah.
That was the only player.
Yeah.
So he's going to get players to adapt to the system that are going to come in because now is where the negotiation for players steps up now, and the Glazers are delete FC.
Yeah.
Don't give too damn about Man United. But anyway, we're going to be live in United Real Therapy. Big up.
Oh my days.
Straightjacket Army.
Oh my days. 1 second, Everton are on the attack here.
What a woeful pass by Wiobi there. He should be shot for that.
Oh my days. It's 3-0.
Wow.
3-0 Everton. Wow. Look at that. Oh my God, guys. On that note, we're going to wrap it up here.
Wow. Oh, Dwight McNeil just walking through that defense.
Walking. And we couldn't beat this Brighton team.
We couldn't do that, mate. Saeed, Everton are doing what we couldn't do. You know what Everton are doing? You know what their tactics has been in this game? Their tactics is simple. Everton's tactic is low to mid block.
It will be.
Win the ball back, and then go for them.
Counter.
Yeah, counter.
All 3 of the goals have literally been counter attacks. That's crazy.
Counter attacks, but properly though. And you got people who can flip and finish as well. But that keeper though, look at the keeper as well. Oh my God.
Still in it.
The guy that was putting good saves against Man United.
Yeah, exactly. But it just shows you, man, our luck is gone. Maybe the season's falling apart, man. But guys,
always look on the bright side of life.
Football is weird. Football's weird. I don't like football anymore. I don't like it.
Listen.
You know that guy, Accrington Stanley, the manager? I don't know what to think anymore. I just don't like football anymore. That's me right now. But listen, people, we're going to wrap it up here. Make sure
can I just say one thing? I'll say the last thing. I was quite confident thinking that we might beat Man City on a one-off. At this moment in time, the form we're on, I think we could get a 5-0.
Bro, I'm telling you.
We could get really embarrassed.
And I'm glad I might not have a ticket for that game as well. I'm trying to find you a ticket, Nordin, by the way. Do you want a ticket still, or you...
I think you could try, but don't try too hard.
Look at this guy, man. You're a fake fan. You know the team needs you, and now you're 50-50 about the ticket. But before, when United were doing well, get me a ticket, Saeed. Get me a ticket. Oh,
listen, Saeed. You know, with the bottle jobs, it's the hope that kills you, and the hope has finally killed me. The hope is gone. I don't have any hope. I can't even wish and pray anymore. Honestly,
I'm telling you. Andy, if you're going, man, good luck to you, Andy. Be up to Leslie. Big up to everybody who's going down, man. But for me, I don't know, man. I'm not gonna push the ticket as well. I can't lie to you. I
Now,
can't be
listen,
asking
you know what?
Steve.
I'm joking. Listen, joking aside, son, you better be looking at. I want to go. Even if you get
Alright,
humiliated. Listen, even if you get humiliated, so I can do my therapy on the players. I can tell it to their faces.
Yeah. Okay. Aaron, man, it's been a pleasure, man. Make sure you follow Aaron as well. Aaron Sakaya on YouTube. Big up to you, bro. Love
Yes.
for coming on as usual, man.
Yo,
Yes,
Aaron,
yes.
no infights for the European football. You still doing the European football thing podcast?
Oh, hold on. Another attack here.
Man, it's 9.
Ah, there we go. I'm gonna bring it back when the summer starts, and then I'll bring you guys on. It's gonna be a face-to-face show again. So yeah, when the summer's around again, we'll make it happen.
We're there, bro. We're there, man. We're there.
Big up,
Big
Aaron.
up, man. Make sure
Listen,
you come
join us
follow
here,
him as
Real
well.
Therapy people, where
There
we
you
get
go.
underneath. Big up.
There you go. Make sure you follow Nuruddin as well. We're going live as
Listen,
well.
you know what? I'm we're 500 short of 8,000, mate. 500
go.
short of 8,000.
Make sure you
Subscribe to
go
the
follow
channel.
him, man. There
United
you go.
Real Therapy people. Raw and real reaction. Raw
There you
and
go.
real.
Make sure you like the video. It's been over 1,000 people in it. If we're not hitting 500 likes, then you lot are bottle jobs like my United. I'm not even honestly. We don't hit 500 likes per
Yes,
episode.
there were some bottle jobs because Man United, at least they have to compete here. They're competing against nobody. They just got to smash a like.
Smash a like, guys. Smash a like, people, and I'll see you tomorrow. Real Madrid versus Man City.
Just
Hala
gotta
Madrid. Hala Madrid. Hala Madrid.